You ever have one of those days where you're just drowning in tasks, emails piling up, and you wish you just had a partner to help you tackle it all?
Oh, yeah.
And no, I'm not talking about another cup of coffee.
Right.
I'm talking about AI.
Okay.
Specifically, how to make AI tools like Microsoft Copilot feel less like a piece of software and
Yeah.
more like a genuine colleague.
It's a question a lot of people are grappling with right now, especially with all the buzz around AI.
Exactly. So today we're diving into two really insightful pieces on this very topic. We've got excerpts from a guide on adopting Copilot in the workplace by Pierre-Yves Delacote, who specializes in this stuff over at Planet Technologies, and a LinkedIn article,
Okay.
just to, give you an idea of where this conversation is happening, by Jared Spataro, who's actually a corporate VP at Microsoft, focusing on AI at work.
Wow, okay.
So we're really getting some good stuff here.
And what's really interesting is that both pieces emphasize the same thing. To truly unlock the potential of AI, we need to shift from thinking about it as just a simple tool to treating it more like a teammate.
A teammate, like you can bounce ideas off of.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But just like with any new colleague, there's a learning curve involved, both for us and for the AI.
Right.
So it's not a quick fix.
Yeah.
It's something we really have to kind of work at and develop.
Gotcha.
And that's where I think these pieces offer some really good insights.
Which is where Delacote's guide comes in. He lays out some really practical advice for anyone looking to kind of bring Copilot on board. And one of his biggest points is about setting realistic expectations. He's really clear that Copilot isn't about instantly automating every task or replacing human jobs, but rather about augmenting our abilities. It's not going to do everything for us.
And he tackles this head on, saying Copilot isn't some magic bullet, that even with AI, you still need that human touch. Like, think about it this way. Imagine using Copilot to draft a social media post. It might generate some catchy phrases.
Sure.
But you'd still want to review it, add your personal flair, and make sure it aligns with your overall strategy, right?
Absolutely. It's like having a super efficient assistant who can handle the first draft, but still relies on your expertise to shape the final product.
Exactly. And Delacote takes it a step further, talking about this really important idea of iterative collaboration with Copilot.
Okay.
He says, it's not about typing in one perfect prompt and having it spit out a flawless masterpiece on the first try. It's more of an ongoing conversation, refining your prompts and giving feedback to guide it towards better results over time.
So it's less like using a calculator and more like brainstorming with a colleague.
Yeah.
You're both contributing, but in different ways.
Precisely. He gives a great example in the guide, talking about how you could ask Copilot to create a Word doc based on content from a PowerPoint.
Okay.
Now, imagine if you could give it feedback on that first draft, like make this section more concise, add a visual here, that sort of thing.
Right.
That back and forth.
Yeah.
That's where the real magic happens.
So it's all about, like you're saying, giving feedback and refining.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. But even, if we're being honest, even with a human colleague, that can be tricky sometimes,
Sure.
How do you make sure the AI is actually like learning from your input?
Right.
Is there a specific way to quote unquote talk to Copilot that gets the best results?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
And this is where Delacote's emphasis on data hygiene comes in.
Right.
He basically says that the quality of the information you feed into Copilot directly impacts the quality of its output.
So it's like if you're asking Copilot to help you write a report, but you're working from outdated data, or your notes are just a disorganized mess. Even, the smartest AI isn't going to be much help. It's garbage in, garbage out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not just about being organized for the sake of it. It's about understanding how AI processes information.
Okay.
Copilot thrives on clear, structured data. It's like, think about training a new employee.
Okay.
If you give them clear instructions and access to the right resources, they're much more likely to succeed.
Right.
It's the same principle with AI.
So data hygiene is kind of like setting our AI colleague up for success right from the start.
Precisely. And this actually ties in really well with what Spataro talks about in his LinkedIn article.
Okay.
Remember, we were saying how he's coming at this from the perspective of someone actually building these tools at Microsoft.
Yeah, it's like getting a peek behind the curtain a little bit. Right. And he talks about this shift from a command model of computing to a conversational one.
Okay. I'm intrigued. What does that mean exactly?
Well, in the past, we interacted with computers by giving them very specific commands. Think about coding, for example,
Right.
or even just using those old school search engines.
Yeah, yeah.
It was all about inputting the exact right thing in the exact right way.
And hoping for the best.
Exactly.
Mm.
But AI, like Copilot, changes the game. It's not just about commands anymore. It's about co-creation.
Okay.
We're having a conversation with the AI, guiding it toward what we want to achieve. Spataro actually uses the example of building a product pitch deck with Copilot.
Okay.
And he says it's not about giving it a single prompt
Right.
and expecting, a finished product,
Of course.
but rather using that back and forth, refining your ideas, providing feedback, just like you would with a human collaborator.
It's almost like we're managing AI now,
Right.
which is so interesting to think about because we manage people, we manage projects, but managing an AI tool feels like a whole other thing.
It is. You're hitting on a really crucial point there. And Spataro actually makes that parallel in his article.
Okay.
Talks about treating AI almost like you would a new team member,
Okay.
setting clear expectations, providing constructive criticism, and coaching them towards better performance.
Right.
It's not about expecting perfection from day one, but rather nurturing its growth and development over time.
It's like you're saying we need to have patience for this new way of working.
Yeah.
And look, we're all learning. It's not like we were born knowing how to, perfectly use AI.
Exactly.
So are there specific, techniques for coaching in AI? How do we do that?
That's where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
Spataro suggests focusing on the quality of your interactions with the AI. So think about it this way.
Okay.
If you were explaining, a complex task to a human coworker,
Right.
you wouldn't just throw a jumble of thoughts at them, would you?
No.
You'd be clear, concise. You might even use visuals to get your point across.
Right.
It's the same principle with AI.
Okay.
The more context you can provide in your prompts, the better it will understand your intent, and the better it will be able to deliver what you're looking for.
So it's almost like we need to become better communicators ourselves,
Exactly.
even if our conversation partner is AI.
Exactly. And here's something I find particularly fascinating. Spataro envisions a future
Okay.
where even entry-level employees are essentially managing teams of AI agents,
Wow.
delegating tasks and leveraging their AI colleagues' expertise to work smarter, faster. Imagine that. Having an AI teammate who specializes in data analysis,
Okay.
another who's a whiz at writing reports.
Yeah.
It's like having a whole team of specialists, just like at your fingertips.
Right. It's like we're entering this new era of collaborative intelligence. It's not about what we know.
Right.
It's about how well we can leverage the combined knowledge of humans and AI.
Precisely. And that brings us right back to Spataro's thought-provoking question.
Okay.
As you develop your daily AI habits, what new working patterns do you see emerging?
Ooh, good question.
Right. It's a question that each of us, regardless of our industry or job title, needs to be thinking about.
Yeah.
How will AI reshape how we approach our work, how we collaborate, how we even define success? It's a really fascinating time to be thinking about the future of work.
Yeah, it is. We're all pioneers in a way, right?
Yeah.
Navigating uncharted territory. And these insights from Delacote and Spataro kind of give us a roadmap. Here's a framework for not just surviving, but thriving in this new world of AI collaboration.
But who knows? Maybe one of our listeners will be the one to come up with the next big thing, the next big approach to working with AI, something we haven't even imagined.
It's exciting.
It is. It's a little daunting, but mostly exciting. But till then, stay curious, experiment, and keep those conversations flowing,
Love it.
both with your human colleagues and with your AI counterparts.
Fantastic. That's all the time we have for today's deep dive. But hey, keep those AI conversations going, and we will catch you next time.